Go to TAPgiles.com to learn dreams, engage my services, and support the channel. This video expands on the modular system created in the previous videos in my collaboration with Lucid Stew. Check the card or description for a link to the playlist. So a slightly different way of doing this selector. So the selector is fine, and it has room for up to 10. So that means you could have 9 presses. So I'm going to make it easier myself and have it just go left to right a few times. So it's green, red, blue, yellow. So let's remove all these wires. Green, red, blue, yellow. And I'm going to take up those 9 slots. So that's 8, and then have another green one. And this will look a bit weird because it will start glowing on the first time it's a correct thing, but we'll sort that out. So I'm going to just briefly remove that from E, and then I'm wiring into the power of these things. So if I wire into there and then B into there, a quicker way of doing this is holding L1 makes a new wire. And if there's nothing in the selector next to it, it will make it from the next one. So I can slot these into successive bits in the selector. Alternatively, instead of having more than one green, you could wire that into the same green, but this just helps me visualize the code I've got to put in. So that's that, and then we can use J as the complete, and just move that down there. Okay, so now I can have up to 8, and then it completes. So that's cool, but you can have even more if you change this selector out for something else. It's a little bit more complicated than a simple selector, but it allows you to have any number of these ordered inputs. So for the order, we're going to have a timeline. And I'm going to put it onto beats mode by clicking X on that, which gives us these columns, and it's kind of nicer to work with. I'm just going to tweak this and set the meter numerator to 1, and now I've got these columns numbered, so I know there are 16 columns. So if I grab this and put it in here and make it last 1 column and then another one, and I'll just make all these the right width. Okay, and then I'll just put them next to each other like that. So now I've got 16 of those, and if the playhead is there, only the red button is allowed. And if the playhead is there, only the yellow button is allowed. And to just make sure this works properly, it's a good idea to kind of drag the playhead along, because they can be slightly overlapping, and then that can cause problems with the logic. But it seems okay. And then you can control this with a counter. You can control the playhead. So if we get a counter, and we have 16 columns, so I'll have the target be 16, and then it has a progress, and this is a percentage between 0 and 1. So to demonstrate how this playhead works, if I get a value slider and wire it into the playhead, that button only appears when you have a wire, so we can wire that in there. And then if we set it to 1, it's at the end, 0, it's at the start, and if we put it to 0.5, then it's 0.5. So as this increases, and if we wire that into there, as this increases, this is going to those different columns in here. So it's activating a different keyframe. But we can have, it's not limited to 10, we can have hundreds if we wanted to. So I'll just wire that directly into the playhead instead. And then instead of going next on the selector, we can add to this counter. And instead of going to the start, we can reset it, which will go back to 0 and go back to the start of the timeline. So one last thing we want to do though, instead of going from J, we'll just have this go from the counter full. That'll do. Cool, so I'm just going to have that there so we can watch it as we test. So green, red, blue, yellow. Yay! And now these don't do anything and it all works exactly the same as before. We're just setting the order in a different way, which gives us more flexibility and stuff of making bigger codes or whatever we want to do. Great, and of course you can add new buttons really simply, because now you just go plop and give it a different hue, purple one, and now we've got a purple button, and I can put that into our timeline. And a trick is to make that keyframe fit that, and then put that into the chip instead. And now when I copy a new one, it will just slot straight in, and it's very quick to add. So I'm just going to put it right in the middle there, and see if that works. Just make sure I can see it, and I'll have that on the screen so I can remember. Yay, I did it! Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something interesting. Go to patreon.com/TAPgiles to learn something new every day.